I'd like to welcome everyone back to the new academic year. Um, I'll go towards the end. I'll tell you a little bit about how I wound up here, being still here. I really thought that, I really had a tea time for September 1st, which is this Friday. I was going to go play golf, but that's sort of been canceled. But it's good to be back here. I'm not going to lie, guys. It's good to be back. It's good to see everyone back here. And you guys are the reason that I'm back here. Trust me. Well, you guys and my wife are the reason that I'm back here. So if you want to thank anyone for me being back here, you really need to thank my wife if you get a chance to talk to her. I'm not going to hold you guys too long, but I'd like to give you an idea of where we are. I know Mark always gave State of the School address the first couple of weeks that we're here, and I'd like to sort of continue that tradition and just update you guys on just a few things. First of all, new faculty. If there are any new faculty, would you stand, please, so we could just welcome you here? All new faculty, please stand. Thanks, guys. Any new staff members that came, and I'd say new since January on, new staff members, please stand. Welcome to the Bush School. Trust me, you're gonna, the Bush School is really a family. I was talking to someone in the hall earlier, and they said, Frank, the thing about it with all this centralization and all this other stuff going on, some people really don't know if they're invited to a lot of things here. The people in HR, well, I work in the Bush School, but I report to someone else. Or Marcom, the exact same thing, IT. Guys, you're all part of the Bush family. So you're invited to everything. I don't care who you report to, whether it's a straight line or a dotted line, you're part of the Bush family. So we want to make sure that you know that you're invited and you're welcome to attend any event that we have here in the Bush School. So now we got that off the table. Let's keep on going. Already did that. Guys, for the last 7 years, every presentation that I've done, I've had that slide there. Every presentation I did. I did a presentation for the freshmen yesterday, and I started with this slide. And I told them the story about going to the football camp and having a coach say that he had a conversation with a player, and he told the player to remember your why. Remember your why. He said that he wanted to play football to create a better life for his family, came from a single parent family. Mother had 5 more kids at home and everything. And he wanted to go and be successful so he could provide a better life for his family. And the coach told him, don't ever forget your why. This is our why right here, guys. And that's why I start every slide with this, because when you read that quote right there from H.W. Bush, and I know some of you have memorized it, they were committed to public service for the right reason. And our students said they believed they could make a difference, and they did. What I tell every group that I speak to is that's our why at the Bush School, to help realize this dream right here. Every faculty member, every staff member, and every student here at the Bush School. That's why we do what we do. That's what I would have truly missed if I would have really retired. I would have truly missed that. I love walking around interacting with our students. When you interact with our students, you know that our state, our country, and our world is going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And I told all the freshmen yesterday, who are pretty much mostly political science and international studies major, I said, now you're part of helping fulfill this dream right here. And that's why I told them they need to get engaged. We do a great job with our graduate students. Our graduate students have drank the Kool-Aid. They are Bushies. But now we got about 1,400 undergraduate students. We got to try to get that same feeling with them. But that's our why right there, guys. That's why we come to work every day. To help fulfill this one dream right here. Okay. The theme for this little session right here is sometimes you got to look back at your past and smile at how far you've gotten. So I'd like to take a look beginning from 2016. The funny story, President Welsh, interim President Welsh came, I think in August of 2016, and I later came in October of 2016. So I wanted to take a look at what's happened in those past 7 years right there. So let's take a look back. First of all, 374 students here in the Bush School. 374 students. We had INTA, PSAA, and also had the EMPSA that it began that year. Now we have 1,800 degree students. That's over fourfold, guys, in 7 years, thanks to political science and international studies. But just think about that. Increase 4 times the amount of students that you have in a 7-year period. Now we've increased in faculty, staff. I apologize. And Mark always hammered this. Well, excuse me, President Welsh. Don't be going to tell him I call him Mark. Mark. He hammered this. We need more staff. And that's one thing I'm still going to press for. If we keep adding students, that means we're going to need more academic advisors. We're going to need more people in the staff people in the departments. It's one thing that you'll hear me keep hammering on this year. We have to increase our staff. We have to make sure we provide the services to our students that they need. But that's incredible. Quadrupling our size in 4 years. In 2016, once again, we had 3 degrees. International Affairs, Public Service and Administration, and EMPSA is not a separate degree, but it was a master's, an executive master's. That's it. This is what we look like now. Just a little bit different. We've got 3 undergraduate programs: International Affairs, International Studies, Political Science. Fall of 2024, we're going to be adding an undergraduate program in Public Service and Administration. That's 4 undergraduate programs. Coming to a college that knew nothing about undergraduate students. And we're still learning. All you guys that have been involved in poli-science and international studies, thank you for helping us learn, because we're still learning. We're learning things like having the parents call the dean's office. That never happened for graduate students. I'm getting calls from parents about wanting to bring their high school student to visit the Bush School. Dr. Shanley, that's why I'm sending all those to you. Masters, we have International Affairs, International Policy, Public Service and Administration, and we also have a PhD. The undergraduate programs and PhDs are things that we'd spoken about for a while here at the Bush School. God, wouldn't it be nice if we had a PhD? Well, last year we received one. And once again, it's another thing that we're learning about right now, dealing with PhD students. PhD students who are teaching assistants, who are teaching in our classes and everything like that. Once again, guys, that's in 7 years. In 2016, We had the Institute for Science Technology, Public Policy, the Mosbacher and Scowcroft Institute. Those were our 3 university level recognized centers or institutes. These are the ones that we have recognized by the Board of Regents right now. We have those 3. We also have the All Britain Center for Grand Strategy, the Center for Nonprofits and Philanthropy, the European Union Center, and this doesn't count the other things like the French Institutes, our President Young's Center for Religion and International Relations. It's over 7 years, guys. 7 years. Looking at our endowment, in 2016, our total endowment was $56.8 million. This is one thing that Mark really talked about. And in the last couple of years he was here, Mark wasn't here a lot because Mark was on the road talking to people. I remember about 5 years ago, we talked to all the departments, we talked to all the centers, all the faculty members said, give us your ideas. And we will go out and try to find people that will come up with money. I mean, the intelligence program really benefited a lot during that time because it was the sexy thing. Everybody was worried about national security. We're able to start the governance program, county city governance. Found a donor to be able to do that. I know the Center for Nonprofits start doing some things. So, but we still got a way to go. We increased 27% in our endowment to 7 years. That's incredible. A 27, almost a 30% increase in our endowment. But we know we still have a ways to go. You know, adding political science, that's one thing that we talked about. We've got to try to create monies for scholarships, especially scholarships for undergraduate students. We've never had anything like that. How do we increase the number of fellowships that we have, of distinguished chairs that we have? So it's one thing that, and I'll talk about that in a second as far as what my role is in this, but once again, that's pretty good. 27% increase in the endowment for such a small school. Keep in mind, we only celebrated 25 years last year. We're a young school too. But to be honest with you guys, it's one way we've done this is by increasing our advisory board. Here are 3 new advisory board members right here. And the advisory board is going to be meeting in a couple of months. But first of all, Clark Ervin. Clark previously served in various positions for several presidents, including George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush, and was part of the Homeland Security transition team for President Barack Obama. In the mid-90s and early 20s, he served as the state of Texas, as Assistant Secretary of State and the Deputy Attorney General of Texas. We talked to him about 2 years ago. Last year, he joined the advisory board. Sarah Jackson, whom a lot of you guys know. Sarah's a graduate of the Bush School, graduated class of 2011. Vice President of Strategy and Public Affairs for Dallas Citizen Council. And in 2022, served a year's term as the chairwoman for the Texas Lyceum. Before she became a student here at the Bush School, she served as press secretary for 2 U.S. congressmen and served at the State Department as a public affairs specialist. And then on the far left, Laura Schillings. She's an energy executive from the Houston area. She's currently Senior Vice President of Surface Western Hemisphere for Technips SMC. And prior to joining this company, she was president at Superior Energy Services. These are the type people who we're trying to bring on to our advisory council to help us, especially in the development area. I mean, being a school of public service, we realize that a lot of our students aren't going to go out and get rich and make a lot of money. It's not like the College of Business or the College of Engineering, where you got former students that have the ability to donate big amounts of money back to the school. So what we're doing, what our development team's doing, what the dean was doing, is developing these friends of the Bush School. And these are 3 of our new friends right here. They may not donate money, but they know people who can donate money. So that's another thing that I'm going to be responsible for, making sure that none of the relationships that we've developed will be dropped during this interim term between now and the time we have a full-time dean of the college. This is a guy that worked with everyone in this room to get these things done. Mark didn't do it all by himself. It was the faculty, staff, and especially the students here. Oh man, we get our students with donors and they eat it up. They love it. Our donors say, God, I wish I had the ability to do that when I was a student. I want to do whatever I can to make sure these students are going to be successful. So it's everyone in this room really needs a pat on the back for everything that you've done in the past 7 years to make all these things possible. Bush School's in good shape, guys. For a college our size, we're doing good. We have really done good in the last 7 years. But we can't stop there. We can't stop there. And that's where I step in as acting dean. What I've told everyone, 2 big responsibilities: to keep the train on the track, not just to go crazy and wreck, but also to keep us moving. And that's my big responsibility. The last thing I want to happen is to have a new dean come here in the fall and say, oh my, who was that Yahoo that was the acting dean? Because he didn't have a clue what he was doing. I want to make sure that I leave the school in great hands for the new dean that's coming in. That's why I'm meeting with development to say, hey, listen, what are some relationships out there that I need to make sure I keep going? Talking to faculty members, what are some of those ideas you guys are talking about that we need to make sure we keep going? I don't want to drop the ball on anything. I want to make sure that when I step down, now my contract ends June 30th. I heard what you say, Will. No, June 30th. When I jump on my horse and ride off on June 30th, I want to know that I've done a good job, that I've kept us on track, that this growth has been constant. But guys, just like Mark didn't do it by himself, I can't do it. I'm going to need you guys. I'm going to need you guys. I'm going to need you to pitch your ideas, your suggestions. What are things we can do? What are the things out there that we need to make sure we keep working on? Because that's my responsibility. You know, the joke is 15 minutes. And the joke of 15 minutes is July 31st at 5:00 p.m. was my last day at the Bush School officially. July 31st, 4:45, I rescinded my resignation. I had 15 minutes of freedom. And the way everything went down, I talked to Mark. after everything went down about him being named president. And he said, Frank, I told him that you are probably the most logical person to do it, but I would never ask you to do it. He says, I know how forward you and Janice are looking to retirement. So I'd never ask you to do it. So I said, Mark, let me talk to Janice. So I talked to my wife that morning, and she gave me the typical answer, I'll support you in whatever you do, which was a wrong answer. All you people who are married know that that's not the right answer. So I called her back around noon, and she says, I'll support you. I said, yeah. I called her back about 5 o'clock, and she said, if you can agree that it's only 1 year and they'll start a dean search. She goes, we can do it. So then I called back and said, Mark, I'd be honored to be considered to be a nominee for the dean. That's how I wound up here, guys. It's not, another thing I thought about is, we all knew that this was Mark's last year. And I can tell you Mark and I are pretty close friends. The last thing he wanted to do was go be the president of the university. He really wanted to do his final year here at the Bush School and just fade off, hang out with his grandkids. But Mark's a true public servant. And that's why I said yes. And I said, well, if Mark could do it, why shouldn't I do it? So that's how you guys got stuck with me. Now I've been having conversations with the provost. Everybody's been wondering what's going to happen. And we've got Dean's Council meeting next week. My advice is to start the dean search immediately. I got to see what the provost says about that. Dean searches are handled through the provost office. They're not handled at the college level. So whenever they launch the dean search, another dean will chair the committee. I know that for a fact. The provost office will send out a call for nominations to be on the committee. And it's usually a pretty well-rounded committee with people of different ranks, different titles, APT, tenure track. There'll also be staff members on that committee. So if you're interested in serving on that committee, just keep your ears open. I'll make sure that everyone knows when the call comes out to be on the committee. So, and as soon as I find out something, I'll let you know. If you know people out there that might be good candidates, once again, people can be nominated to serve in the dean's position. But I can tell you what, it won't be me. I guarantee you that. But the other reason I came back, guys, is because of you guys, just to be honest with you. If it wasn't for the great faculty staff and the great team here at the Bush School, there's no way in hell I would have done it. I'm just going to be honest with you. I've gone into enough broke organizations and had to fix them. And there ain't nothing broke about this one, guys. There ain't nothing broke about this one. So it's an honor for me to serve as the acting dean. I think I've explained to everyone why it's acting title. I've gone to both faculty meetings and explained it to them. Is there anyone else that don't know why it's an acting dean instead of an interim dean? Okay, Mark Welsh is the interim president of the university, which means Mark Welsh is still the dean of the Bush School. As long as there is a sitting dean, you can't have another interim. That's why I'm the acting dean of the Bush School. In the perfect world, if the university hires a president to come in January, then Mark Welsh comes back to the Bush School as the dean of the Bush School. Frank retires. That's in a perfect world right there. Other case scenario, if they do both searches together, Depends on when the persons are going to come in, but Mark could still be the interim president. And if a president doesn't come until August, Mark stays in the interim presidency. If we hire a dean that comes in the summer, the dean comes in, Frank fades into the sunset. Either way, Frank fades into the sunset as an acting dean. Thank you guys for what you do. I tell you what, you know, and at my retirement, I said, it's been great working with you for 7 years. Let's make sure we keep it that way for one more year.